Elbows up. Good job, Canada. Today, you're seeing this on Wednesday, but this is my first opportunity I've had to create a video since the elections on Monday. So all the videos you've seen up until today were done a few days ago. But I think it's very interesting. Consistently, the readings I did lean toward the liberal side. But I got so many nasty remarks, and I've never, aside from the person who reported me for having an obscene card, the nastiest remarks, and I got several of them that I've ever gotten, were from the conservative publican folks who saw my videos. They really were upset. So when I did my last video on the election, I said these are the things that we're going to look for in order to get clues as to whether which party will be the likely winner. And so when I did that initially, rather than just interpreting the cards, because I got so many people that says you're just interpreting them to your bias, it's like, okay, let's put some place guards. Let's put some safeguards in place where I can't know ahead of time what's going to be laid out. But I'm just saying, if I see a number of these, it's going to be conservative. If I see a number of these, it's going to be the Liberal Party. And consistently with all the readings I've done, the Liberal Party was squeaking through. So I hope you've chosen wisely for yourselves. I can tell you this. If your conservative party was in any way aligned with you-know-who, you were in for a shit show. And I'm sorry I said a bad word, but that's what you were in for, and that's putting it mildly. And let it be a lesson. Anything he touches turns to that too. So anybody who rubs elbows with him, I mean, look at Emo Boy. Emo Boy came in strong and riding that white horse, and he was going to be America's little hero. He petered out, and consistently, and I don't think I'm the only tarot reader who had this kind of information come through. But consistently, the cards were reading that it was going to dismantle and start to fall apart in March, April. And here it is, the end of April, and we haven't seen Emo Boy's face in a long time. And he's been bailed out. I mean, he's been not bailed out, but he's just been falling to the wayside because everything who touches turns to you know what. And Emo Boy deserves it. He deserves it. And hopefully his damage to himself is irreparable. Hard to feel sorry for a person who will probably remain the richest person in the world. So, he'll never not be the richest person in the world. Or maybe he'll be the second richest person in the world. So, but to him, that's a failure, So, oh well, you brought it onto yourself. And there's so much to say about those two. So much to say. I just can't even say it anymore. I just can't. I don't know if I've ever done a video on the Chosson. I'm not sure when this deck came out. It came out in 1736, but I'm not sure when Yves Renaud created it, because there's no date on any of the cards or the box. I'm not sure, but I think it might have been the first Yves Renaud deck I ever bought. It might have been. Because I've had it a long time. And, I've had a lot of decks for a long time, but I think this one I got was the first one I got. I know I got a high number. Out of 3,000, I got 2166. So I was late in the game in getting it, but I was like, let me see what these cards are about. These historic TDM decks. I had mass-produced TDM decks, of course, for a number of years, but I never had like a fancy historic deck. I don't think, unless, it's impossible for me to know. I think the order of cards that I bought for historic was probably it was probably Il Meneghello for the Italian, and then followed by Giordano Berti. And then I thought, let me see some of these French ones, So then I went over to Yves Renaud, and I just, at that time, maybe he didn't have a whole lot. I'm not sure. He probably did. But I just picked this one. I don't have any memory of the reason I chose this one. It may have been one of the few that were out there or available at that time. So this is early in my historic French card collection. It looks like it's in order, so I don't even have to put it in order, yay. So let's peruse it together. I don't think I've ever done a video on it. And maybe if there's time, I'll do a quick read, and if not, tomorrow I'll do 3 readings or a signature spread on it. I know some of you have asked about the calculation of my signature spread, and you can do it any way you want, to come up with your quintessential cards. My method for coming up with quintessential cards is to add the numbers of the number-bearing cards, and if it exceeds 22, I subtract 22, and then whatever number is left is the triumph card I pull. Unless it is also beyond 22, I just keep deducting 22 until I get a number between 1 and 21, because it works out best for me. But if you do it another way, it's your business. Okay, so let's flip the camera and get started. I may have done a video showcasing this with another deck, but this was like a random one I picked, I don't know. I was just like, oh, let me go see about the French decks. And I think this was the first one. So it's obviously not an early TDM. TDM style had been around for about 80 years, 70 years. The first one came out, well, we know now it was a Vachier, so that came out around 1639. And this is 100 years later, just almost 100 years later. We see the limited palette. Nice looking face of the Pope. Pleasant faces all around. And we see conclusively that TDM2 rather. And we see it here too with the lover card. I like their faces, and I love the detail in this lion. I mean, I said Chosson. I'm sure it was Chosson. I'm guessing that's the proper way to say it. Francois Chosson, or the closest my American mouth will ever get to saying it properly. We notice the spelling. It could be Old French spelling. It could be not, I mean, it was made in France, so they knew how to write, right? They knew how to write their own language. So sometimes when I see words that seem like they might not be right, maybe it's just like the old spelling, or it's just the way they spell it, and it doesn't look right to me. Their faces, they look so serene. Except for this guy. So the interjection of color, it's a little confusing. Like, it's hard to see why that color was necessary right there and there. I guess it was, here perhaps it was the arm on the other side. But what is it here? It's not his arm, because his arm is red. So, the TDM, it's a lot of the older TDM decks, they're just so abstract, right? They become abstract because when they copied it, when they copied cards, maybe some stuff got lost in translation, even if it was a French deck. In recent days, I've been deciding that my favorite card is the Judgment card. It has been, up until now, the Star card, not particularly of the TDM deck, but in general, the message of the Star card. But now, the message of Judgment is really resonating with me. We should all hold ourselves accountable for everything we do. Everything. And the reason I thought it would be nice to show this, I haven't shown it before, is because I don't think too many people talk about the Chosson, right? When we hear TDM, we hear the, matinee or the païenne, or we hear noble or dodal, but we never hear anybody say Chosson. In fact, it's probably weird that I even bought it. I think at some point it was thought and considered, I didn't realize this at the time I bought it. I think I learned this later. When we get to the pseudo coins, you'll see what I mean. That it was considered that this may have been printed 100 years earlier than this copy. It's my boyfriend. And if I'm not mistaken, Sullivan Hissmans from Tarot Sheet Revival did another one, and I did do I did do a video comparing each of these together, and I think he maintains that 1672 was the correct date for these plates. It may have been printed in 1736, but it might have been a case where the blocks used were from 1672. If I can find, I didn't see the Chosson in my my list of videos. I didn't, but I must have done a comparison between those two decks, because I know I have the Tarot Sheet Revival. Now this is a chunky deck, stick cards. I can't riffle shuffle it like it's a bicycle deck, but probably because I haven't used it all that much, and it's a little on the thick side. But it's easy to riffle shuffle. Nice quality. If you know Yves Renaud's decks, Yves Renaud's decks, then you know they're high quality. Very nice cards. So I think we're only 15 minutes in. I think you guys could probably tolerate a few readings. So let me go off camera, come up with a question or two, or three, and be right back. You know, I'm kind of curious, be a fly on a wall, to know, you know, whose reaction once he realized that his Goomba up north wasn't going to win. I'm just curious to know, and I've asked the universe to just let us get a sneak peek into what we're allowed to see. What was you know whose reaction, personal reaction, when he saw that his preferred candidate, or his preferred party rather, in Canada did not win. Well, did he take it in stride? Life goes on. I guess he was a little bit moody about it in the context of the question. He had emotions about it. Maybe he's in denial. He's looking away from the wheel of progress, right? He's looking away from it. And he's looking towards a weak spot. He's looking towards an opportunity for some. He's not through with it. He's not through with Canada, at least in his own mind. So it may go this way, okay? It's happened, you know, he lost. But now he's not looking at that. Now he's looking at the next. I see 5 as instability, perhaps. So he's looking for the next opportunity where he could interject himself. Now he is up against a financial wizard, right? So I don't think Canada has anything to concern itself with, because you know who wouldn't know a good business opportunity or an opportunity when there's weakness if it bit him in the arse, right? And then, of course, the quint card for this is the devil. So let me pull it. Yeah, so he was not happy. He probably had a temper tantrum, is what I'm guessing. He had a temper tantrum, you know. On the surface, I guess he's making it like, let it ride. He's looking for the next opportunity in his mind. But, you know, he's up against a financial wizard. So I'm sure Carney will never give him an opportunity to wheel and deal any kind of, I got a deal for you kind of thing. But he is not pleased. I think he had a temper tantrum. Well, it's a certain amount of satisfaction. Let me come up with a couple more questions. Okay, I have been curious about the New Jersey gubernatorial race. The primary is in June. We already voted by mail. And we know that we confirmed always, if you vote by mail, always confirm that it was received and always confirm that it was accepted and counted. You know, there's a website for probably every state, but I know for New Jersey there is. And so we can follow the progress. And I see with that app, it's I think New Jersey. I'll post the URL down below for those of you who live in New Jersey. It gives you your entire history of voting in New Jersey. You know, it doesn't show, of course, where you voted if you lived in any other states, which I have. But yeah, I've lived in New Jersey for 37 or 8 years, so it's got all that. So I just want to check in. 3 cards for the primaries. Let's have some clues as to who will be New Jersey's choice in the running. Maybe it'll be a good one. Pointing down, 9 of Swords. So it'd probably be contentious, aggravating. But ultimately, one of growth. So I was hoping we'd see a king or a queen or something, you know, but we won't be disappointed. It might be tight or it might be contentious. Whenever I see the swords pointing downward and there's no card underneath it, then it makes me feel like somebody put a stake in the ground, you know. But then we have flourishing. So we have 2 positive cards. We have 19 and 9 is 28. 28 and 3 is 31. 31 minus 22 is 19. Let me go get the cards. Excuse me, it's not 19, it's 9. I told you, I'm losing my ability to do mental math anymore. I'm sorry. I used to be good, but now I have to always check myself. So we have a Hermit. Well, it will be a wise choice. We're not getting any clues as to who it might be, other than it'll be a wise choice. It'll be a good choice. It'll be contentious. Probably there'll be some aggravation involved, which is what else is new. But will flourish, and it will be choice out of good critical thinking skills will be involved in this one. So I'm hoping that this means that it will be for Miss Mikey Sherrill. She is who I am hoping will win. And let's just do one more read. I mean, that read was only for the primary, so I don't know if she's going to win for the Democratic Party. I hope so. I didn't see any women in that spread, but the men weren't specific either. The Hermit wasn't necessarily representing a man, it was more, representing a concept. So let's ask for some more specifics. Let's ask at least to see or know the gender of the Democrat nominee for the gubernatorial race. Now, ahead of time, I would, if I want to look for clues as to whether it would be the Liberal Party or the Conservative Party, we could, or if it will be male or female, we could do one of 2 things. But then it gets kind of confusing. If we look for the cups and coins as, like, say, traditionally feminine suits, that's fine. But then I see coins as conservative and cups as liberal. So that could get confusing if we're not really sure what we're looking at, right? If we have cups and coins, how do I know it's not representing conservative? So, but because I'm looking for gender, I'm going to ignore, the conservative, because I'm not looking for party, because I already know the party that I'm asking about, so duh, okay. But there could be instances where if there's a person running, more than one person running, and you're looking for feminine clues and you're looking for conservative, just, there are things to consider. But in this case, it's irrelevant because she is in the Democratic Party. So any coins would be reflective of her and not the party. Okay, so I just want to see clues. If a female gender which will nod to Miss Mikey Sherrill. Okay, so we have a cup, yay! We have Judgment. She holds the fire under a lot of people. I think she's definitely holding people accountable, for sure. Ah, yes, okay, good. And it's perfect number 6. So we have, I think she's going to be, I think Miss Mikey Sherrill will be the Democratic nominee for the governor. I think she will be. Ah, that's solid. Oh, good job. Okay, now let's add them up. See, we have 22 and 6 is 28 minus 22. 26 minus 22 is 4. Poop. That suggests a man. Let me pull it. And this is interesting. I made a mistake. See, you can't trust me, but when I figured it out, it was really 6, not 4. So I'm glad it's not I'm glad it's not the emperor. But isn't this interesting anymore when I see Judgment and I see the Lover card? Especially when they appear together, I thought it would be a good opportunity to share this. Don't they share similarities? We have an angel from above delivering a message or delivering an arrow, and we have 3 individuals that are being affected by the angel. Here it's to choose wisely, and here it's to be held accountable. So I think this, I see these two as the more feminine suits, and it comes in handy to have that kind of designation when you're trying to do something like this and trying to get clues for a gender, So, and it's a good, solid choice. It's not a bad choice, and she's willing to work together. She's willing to work, but she's also formidable. I think she's formidable, and she will hold people accountable. I think she'll be great for New Jersey. I hope. Okay, friends, until next time, peace, stay well, be brave, and Canada, good job. Congratulations. I think you just spared yourself some heartache. If your you-know-who was in a line with our you-know-who, trust me, you don't want that. And it's remarkable because everything he touches turns to shit, It's funny how it worked, just by his association, he ruined. I know PP was the front runner, and he was expected to win until the American crap hit the fan, and then everything that Trump's I said his name. Everything who associates with turns to shit, So he sabotaged the Conservative Party in Canada just by association, man. Everything he touches. But I think Canada did a good job for itself, and I think he won't regret it. Anyway, until next time, I already said all that stuff. Bye.